Tomorrow's world is a computer world, where communications move at the speed of light and information must be available in seconds. An airborne world of ever wider horizons, a world of planning, of putting ideas into practice. And the man of tomorrow is the man who's trained for this world. He's the man who's at home in it and understands it. He's the man with a trade at his fingertips, a skill that tomorrow's world needs. In the modern army, we belong to this world and teach these skills to our junior leaders and tradesmen. If you want a life where leadership and initiative count, you can join up as a junior leader. They, like the apprentice tradesmen, are the NCOs and warrant officers of tomorrow. And if they're really outstanding, the commissioned officers as well. But the fighting soldier is backed up by a team of experts who help to supply and equip him. We have our own colleges where these skilled technicians and specialist tradesmen are trained. Some of the skills you learn are special to the army, but many of them are just as useful later on in civilian life. Most of the jobs have trade union recognition, and army training is accepted as the equivalent of a civilian apprenticeship. You also take the same civilian exams. These boys are apprentice electronic technicians in Royal Signals and REME, the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. They take the National Certificate in Electrical Engineering or the City and Guilds exam, and so they are equal to civilians doing the same job. During the final year of their training, they specialize in one of 4 electronic trades. These trades cover a wide variety of military equipment, from guided missiles to tanks and radar. No, they haven't come from outer space. They're still electronic apprentices. These radar anti-aircraft controls move in oil baths. You've got to wear protective clothing when servicing them. If you're interested in motors, you can join REME as a vehicle mechanic, and you'll get the chance of learning the theory and the practical construction and repair techniques for all kinds of vehicles. Vehicle mechanics get plenty of action. A troop carrier has broken down, and a REME rescue crew is on its way. In wartime, a quick repair job can mean the difference between life and death. Today, the technician is no longer a backroom boy. He's as much a frontline man as the fighting soldier. Thermic boring through concrete. It looks pretty spectacular, but it's only one of the jobs you'll learn as a fitter machinist in the Royal Engineers. Your basic training is in metallurgy, bench fitting, and machine shop work. Driving a bulldozer or operating a crane. It's all part of the fitter machinist's job, and all part of the training for taking the City and Guilds exam in engineering craft. This is a marine turbine. The Army uses many types of boats and landing craft, and the marine engineer learns about the general maintenance and operation of their power units in order to become an engine fitter. Cabling up to a mobile generator. If you're an electrician in the engineers, you've got to provide power wherever and whenever it's needed. And it's no good telling the sergeant you don't like heights. The apprentice electrician learns the theory and practice of internal and external wiring. He deals in everything from domestic circuits to small power stations. Leveling and chain surveys are two of the jobs you learn as a draftsman in the engineers. And of course, building construction and design and the preparation of working drawings. Wherever the Army goes in the future, it will need maps, and the survey technicians provide them. Very often we have to work in badly charted or uncharted territory. Maps are needed in a hurry, so the survey department not only has to draw them, it has to print them too. If you want to go into business, join the Royal Army Ordnance Corps. The RAOC is responsible for supplying the vehicles, guns, guided weapons, ammunition, clothing, and the thousands of other store items which the Army uses. This is an enormous task, and you've got to be good to tackle it. An RAOC apprentice takes a course in general office routine, which includes touch typing and duplicating. He will qualify either as a clerk for general administrative duties or as a technical clerk for duties in the field.
Now. S. Now. D. Now. Semicolon. Now. L. Now.
If you're after excitement, you can join the Ordnance Corps as an ammunition technician. You not only handle the supply of ammunition and explosives, you have to deal with the ones that don't go off.
Right. Firing!
Pay and allowances in the modern army are good, and it's the job of the Royal Army Pay Corps to make sure you get them. apprentices are taught modern accountancy methods. Sometimes the work is mechanized, but they still have to know the theory and practice of bookkeeping. Like other big business organizations, the Pay Corps operates an advanced electronic computer system, which maintains an individual pay account for every soldier in the Army. You can't fight a war on an empty stomach, and the Army Catering Corps is up front with the fighting soldier. In the bad old days, Army food was a joke. Today, it's the soldier who's laughing, for he has better food than many civilians. Working in modern kitchens, apprentice chefs are taught all aspects of catering. They must know how to prepare varied menus and cook for hundreds of people at a time. But it's not just quantity. Army chefs are also specialists whose creations can rival anything served at a four-star hotel. The Army must be ready to do everything for itself, whether it's making maps or medicines, baking or building. And for all these jobs, we have our own specialists. If the engineer's training was a bricklayer, you don't just learn to lay bricks. You also become an expert in associated trades, such as concreting and drainage, tiling and rendering. The carpenters and joiners do all the woodworking jobs necessary for building construction. Like the other tradesmen, they take the City and Guilds craft exam, which gives them a civilian qualification as well. In building, as in everything else, there are skills, skills, and more skills, and the Army uses and teaches them all. The engineers not only build the houses, they look after the plumbing as well. If you become an apprentice plumber, you learn all aspects of sanitation and heating. Most people don't realize that the Army has even more helicopters than the RAF. It uses them, together with other light aircraft, for reconnaissance and in support of the artillery. It's the job of the aircraft technician to repair and maintain them. The aircraft technician either specializes in engines and airframes or in the electrical systems, flight instruments, and radio. Instruments have to be checked and tested, and specialist equipment is used. Even in peacetime, soldiers can be ill, and the Army has its own hospitals to look after them. The Royal Army Medical Corps trains medical assistants both for general ward duties and for more specialist jobs like theatre technicians and laboratory work. In the middle of a battle, a man lies wounded. The medical assistants have got to be on the spot to help him. Their prompt attention can mean the difference between life and death. By joining tomorrow's army, you are joining a group of men who are not only soldiers, but specialist technicians whose skills are as high and often higher than their civilian equivalents. Men like the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, who provide the electronic technicians to maintain the complicated fighting equipment, the vehicle mechanics, and the aircraft technicians, who either specialize in instruments and radio installations or in engines and airframes. The Royal Engineers, who train the tradesmen, the fitter machinists, the marine engineers who maintain the power units of the Army's waterborne transport, the electricians, the draftsmen, the survey technicians who produce the maps, the men who construct and maintain the Army's buildings, the bricklayers, the carpenters, the plumbers, and the interior decorators. Then there are the men who handle the business side of Army life. The Royal Army Ordnance Corps, which supplies the stores and storemen, the administrative clerical workers, and the ammunition technicians, and the Royal Army Pay Corps, which trains the accountants. The Army's physical welfare is looked after by 2 units. The Catering Corps, which provides the chefs, and the Royal Army Medical Corps, which cares for the Army's health. Or you can join up as a junior leader, the fighting soldier, whose initiative and enterprise are backed up by the team of specialist technicians behind him. If you take on any one of these jobs, you will be one of the men for tomorrow.